So the White House decided to fundraise off of a brazen crackdown on free speech. President Donald Trump's 2020 campaign is asking supporters to give money to support a White House decision to revoke CNN correspondent Jim Acosta's press pass. According to ABC's Alex Mallin, the president's campaign sent out the fundraising letter to supporters this week. Quote, CNN is suing President Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, a Secret Service agent, and other White House officials, the fundraising email complains, all because they revoked Jim Acosta's press badge after his continuous grandstanding and inappropriate refusal to yield to other reporters. President Trump will not put up with the media's liberal bias and utter disrespect for this administration, the letter continues, and the hardworking Americans who stand with us. After warning supporters about fake news and deceptions, the email asked recipients to take a mainstream media survey, which leads them to a request for donations. So I'm led to believe that one of the top issues for many commentators on the right wing, particularly online, is free speech. This is their main thing. They care deeply about it. I mean, it's one of the most talked about issues. Every time there's some blue-haired college kid who has an authoritarian impulse and they want to shut down a Ben Shapiro speech or something like that, there's 1,000 videos that get released condemning it. Now, for the record, I agree. Let the conservatives speak. In fact, I think that that's the best way to eventually take them down, is because they're going to hang themselves because they say stupid shit. So it's not that hard to combat them in an actual battle of ideas. So go ahead, let them speak. I don't care. But what's interesting is the outrage only goes one way. Now, we've covered other stories that are similar to this. Donald Trump sued Bill Maher because Bill Maher made a joke about Donald Trump that Donald Trump didn't like. That is an insane, disgusting infringement of Bill Maher's rights. He's literally suing him for his speech. I mean, ridiculous. Trump, not too long ago, tweeted that we should ban flag burning. We've literally had Supreme Court cases on that where Antonin Scalia, right-wing darling, decided, are you crazy? We might not like flag burning, but that's obviously protected political speech. Are we nuts? This isn't even a question. Trump, I'm sure he didn't know about the case, and he's just like, oh, I don't like it, so let's ban it. Like a fucking child. Like the blue-haired college kid. That's what that is. That's what that impulse is. And the list goes on and on. He threatened to sue The Onion because The Onion wrote a satire piece he didn't like. A fucking satire piece he didn't like. I'm going to sue you. I'm threatening to sue you. This is who we're dealing with. This is the guy who said we should open up our libel laws. He said, I don't like the free speech laws we have in the U.S. We should make it more like the UK where they have hate speech stuff. Could not be further from the position that the right says they love and care deeply about. And again, I'm on the record, and you guys all know this, I actually believe in free speech. I agree with the original ACLU position of even for the biggest assholes, you don't need free speech protections when somebody comes out and says, I love apple pie, rainbows are beautiful, and mother is nice. Like, you don't need the protections for those people. You need them for the odious opinions specifically. And by the way, when you get rid of free speech protections, it's always used to crack down more on vulnerable minority communities. So let's remember that too, that many people on the left who want to get rid of them, it's only going to come back to bite you in the ass. You don't think that a crackdown on free speech would immediately be used against Marxists or black nationalists or whatever, people on the left. It will be used against them 100%. Okay, now, what they're doing here goes even a step further. Trump had said repeatedly, oh yeah, back when he was campaigning and he was doing his rallies, I banned a few reporters from coming into my rallies, but here's what you need to understand. I'm just a private person who's running for president, but I'm a private person and I'm renting the stadium, so therefore it's my right to kick him out if I want to kick him out. Now, he does have a loose legal argument there. You could say, hey, at that time, he is technically a private citizen, so sure, you can kick him out if he wants to kick him out. But I made the argument at the time, no, you are running for president. You are running to be the head of the United States of America. So because of that, there's this almost extension of a public sphere argument that should that I think should be the dominant argument, which is you have to abide by the First Amendment. You have to abide by the Constitution because you're running to be the President of the United States. So you're running to be a representative of the government, so perhaps you should abide by those legal protections and those constitutional rights that are laid out in there. So you shouldn't be able to kick out media people because you don't like them, which is exactly what he did. But he said, I promise you that when I'm in power, I would never do something like that. He said that. He said that in an interview with CNN. Well, guess what? Now he's in power, and he's doing that. And he's doing it to a CNN reporter. I don't like this guy. This guy's an asshole. This guy sometimes keeps talking when I want him to shut up. So now I'm going to revoke his press pass. And then I'm going to turn around and fundraise off of my brazen crackdown on the First Amendment and free speech and a free press. Now, let me be clear. I don't like Jim Acosta. You know, this is like the faux adversarialism that CNN is great at, where it's like the way they resist is fucking mind-numbingly stupid, but they think they're brilliant in how they're doing it. No, they almost never ask him like really tough policy questions and then nail his ass to the wall on it. Almost never. So it's always grandstanding on some weird shit. But having said that, that's irrelevant. My personal opinion of Jim Acosta or CNN is utterly irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, the President of the United States should not be able to revoke a press pass because he doesn't like the reporter. That's deeply against the First Amendment of the Constitution and free speech and a free press. Now, so much so that even Fox News came out and they were like, yeah, what are you doing, Don? What are you doing? Can't do that. What are you doing? So CNN sued them, and now Trump's using this to fundraise for his 2020 re-election campaign. But now we know. One of Donald Trump's policy ideas that he cares so deeply about, he's fundraising off of it. Like they fundraise off the wall. This is one of my top issues, so I'm going to fundraise off of that. Now we know one of his top issues for 2020 is, I hate free speech. I hate it. I hate free speech. I hate a free press. I hate it. I'm going to shut it down. Give me more money. And I will continue to flex my authoritarian impulse, and you'll continue to cheer me for it, even though you go after left-wing college kids when they flex an authoritarian impulse. Fuck all of you hypocrites who do not see what this is. This is clear right in front of your eyes. If you're principled on this issue, let me hear you talk about it. Okay? But if you're not, spare me your segment about those college kids with zero power who dislike a conservative speaker. I don't want to hear it. Because you don't give a shit about free speech. If you did, you would go after the most powerful man in the world when he tries to take away free speech rights.